Mega Evolution is one of the fondest and most cherished mechanics that we've ever had. There's something very awe-inspiring and majestic about watching our favorite mons, some expected and some very not expected, become ultimate versions of themselves. Changing types, changing abilities, gaining stats, and real interesting interactions, as well as the obvious cool form changes that brought each Pokemon up to the next level. Today, I wanted to talk about Mega Evolution as a mechanic, the variety of Megas, and how the most recent game with Mega Evolution is closer than we remember. I'd also like to talk about some of the history of Mega Evolution, where it came from, how it won us over, and the lasting impact it's had on Pokemon as a whole. Before we get into all that, if you could take a minute to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, it would mean the world to me. As the channel grows, so does the quality of my content. I'm a one-man crew here, and doing this is an act of love from me to the community that I belong to. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. For today's video, answer me this in the comments. Do you think that Pokemon Legends ZA is the only Pokemon game to come out in the near future? Or do you think there's more we haven't been told yet? Personally, I think that announcing only one game this year is a bit sus, and I expect something to be announced for the holiday season. I'd be shocked to go through a holiday season without a new Pokemon game, so maybe we'll get Black 3 White 3 after all. There's a lot of Pokemon to cover, and honestly, I wanted to do that in this video, however, it was getting way too long. If you guys want me to cover each Mega Evolution in detail with base stats, abilities, viability, usage, and strategies, please let me know in the comments. I'll do it, I just think it's out of the scope of this video. Mega Evolution was first brought to us with the release of Pokemon X and Y on October 12, 2013. Each Mega Evolution adds an additional 100 base stat points to the Pokemon that a Mega evolves from. This could be weighted towards a few stats to specialize the Pokemon as a glass cannon, a la Beedrill, or evenly distribute the stats to add some more power and bulk to an already well-rounded Pokemon, such as Salamence, really just bringing a new ability or stat boost to an already great Pokemon. It required the Pokemon to hold their corresponding Megastone as a hold item in battle, which for most Pokemon would sound like a hindrance considering you'd lose out on your Choice Scarf or Life Orb, but when your stats are naturally boosted by 100 points and gaining a usually better ability, it didn't matter. You were just a better Pokemon and your item was irrelevant. With this release came the first wave of Mega Pokemon and the centralization of the VGC format around Mega Mawile, Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Charizard Y, and the like. These formed the core of many competitive Pokemon player strategies, and what I think were many of the complaints for Mega Evolution as a whole. A centralizing mechanic that basically made all teams reliant on one Pokemon with very little diversity as to who was going to be on that team. Let's get more familiar with some of the characters of this tragic comedy. Pokemon X and Y being the debut generation gave us the following roster of new characters for us to choose from, or catch them all if our hearts so desired. Mega Venusaur, Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Blastoise, Mega Alakazam, Mega Gengar, Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Pinsir, Mega Gyarados, Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Mewtwo X, Mega Mewtwo Y, Mega Ampharos, Mega Scizor, Mega Heracross, Mega Houndoom, Mega Tyranitar, Mega Blaziken, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Mawile, Mega Aggron, Mega Medicham, Mega Manectric, Mega Banette, Mega Absol, Mega Garchomp, Mega Lucario, and Mega Abomasnow. These new forms of Pokemon were received with very high praise at the time, seeing many players that dropped off during the first wave of Pokemon back in the late 90s return. Old fans saw that the games had finally made the leap to 3D on the 3DS, and Game Freak knew this. They knew that this game was going to be the one to bring back old players that stopped playing after the success of Gold and Silver. They included 6 starters in this game, the 3 new ones from Kalos and the returning Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle that we all know and love, specifically to attract these old players with their nostalgia and provide them with these new Mega forms that really scratch that playground itch of, my Charizard is a good Pokemon and now it's even more gooder. While some criticized Mega Evolution as somehow tapping into a Digimon-esque design space, the criticisms of Mega Evolution felt shallow and nitpicky at the time. Everyone just saw that their favorite Pokemon from before just got some new love and design space, and that's all anyone cared about at this time. No one could have seen what they had planned for the next installments. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire brought us a second wave of Mega Evolutions, and Game Freak really doubled down. I remember the slow drip feed of Megas being announced to lead up to the release on November 21st, 2014, and hoping that our favorites would get the Mega treatment next. I am also a longtime fan of the 3rd generation, as that is when my love for the franchise really solidified and got a full grasp on my imagination. I remember pre-ordering Pokemon Emerald, and I still have my pre-order bonus from back then. Long did I wait with hope for a Mega Flygon, but it never came to be. Instead, we were introduced to the following roster: Mega Beedrill, Mega Pidgeot, Mega Slowbro, Mega Steelix, Mega Sceptile, Mega Swampert, Mega Sableye, Mega Sharpedo, Mega Camerupt, Mega Altaria, Mega Glalie, Mega Salamence, Mega Metagross, Mega Latias, Mega Latios, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Lopunny, Mega Gallade, Mega Audino, and Mega Diancie. There's also Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre if you want to count them, bringing the count up to 50 total Megas. For a brief period of time, the conversation behind Pokemon wasn't who is your favorite or what are you building around this time, it was which Mega are you bringing. Suddenly all of the hundreds of other Pokemon were irrelevant when you had a Charizard that set up its own sun and shot out immense power with heat waves and overheats, or you double fake out with Kangaskhan, double power up punch and double return, it just wasn't viable to run anything else. And while yes, all forms of competitive Pokemon tend to have their tier lists and best in the format, nothing could have prepared us for the abomination that was Chalk, standing for Cresselia, Heatran, Amoonguss, Landorus T, and Kangaskhan, which we saw dominate the 2015 World Championships. Even through all this centralization and obviously unhealthy format, Game Freak decided to keep the Mega Ball rolling into Generation 7. Pokemon Sun and Moon first released on November 18th, 2016. Sun and Moon tried some new things such as the Trials, the Totem Pokemon, the Ultra Beast, and Z-moves. When Generation 7 was first being teased, no one was sure that Mega Evolution would be included. So it was a surprise when Game Freak decided to give us the most powerful VGC meta ever. Primals, Megas, Legendaries, Ultra Beasts, Tapus with Terrain, all allowed during the years 2018 and 2019. I didn't play much VGC during these years, and to be honest, Generation 7 isn't my favorite set of games. I think the Ultra Beasts are awesome, but otherwise I just didn't care for a Hawaiian-based region, the Trials, Z-moves, or any of it. While no new Mega Evolutions were released in Generation 7, the fact that Mega Evolution as a mechanic stayed with us through it all was great. The fans loved it, people were starting to think that Mega Evolution was just another evergreen mechanic that would stay a part of the mainline games forever. At the time, there was no reason to think that Mega Evolution would ever go away. It had survived a whole generation leap and continued to stay relevant and interesting. But something would happen to the trajectory of Pokemon franchise as a whole at the very end of Generation 7. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee released on November 16th, 2018, and were surely a different set of games to say the least. Aimed at drawing players in who came from Pokemon Go, the catchy mechanics were changed from the mainline games to bring something similar if not identical to Pokemon Go. This was unprecedented, but honestly, I had more fun playing Let's Go than Sun and Moon. Just look at these graphics. And the inclusion of Mega Evolution really solidified this as a long-standing mechanic. We had all the Kanto Pokemon including Slowbro, the starters, the Mewtwo's, hell they even introduced a new Pokemon that I am personally very fond of, Meltan and Melmetal. We thought we had it all, and that Mega Evolution was here to stay, until one day when Generation 8 would be announced, and just when we needed it most, it vanished. Pokemon Sword and Shield were released on November 15th, 2019. Wow, I really thought it wasn't that long ago, but that was 5 years ago now. Pokemon Sword and Shield would bring an end to the inclusion of all Pokemon available to us from the 3DS with a Dexa decision. I never got my Breloom, my favorite Pokemon, back with me in Sword and Shield, and I was devastated by it. Despite this, I really enjoyed Sword and Shield. I thought the world was interesting, and I really enjoyed the DLC. The Galarian forms of the birds are superb, and all in all great games. But I digress. Mega Evolution was nowhere to be seen in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and instead replaced with this Kaiju-esque Dynamax mechanic. While I understand that the game had to evolve just as the Pokemon do, you could see the echoes of what once was with the Gigantamax form changes that a few select Pokemon would receive. This was close, but definitely no Mega Evolution, seeing as how the only stat that would change would be the HP stat. No new abilities or anything, just a makeover similar to Power Rangers and some changes to the Dynamax moves. Fans weren't sure that Mega Evolution would ever return. Scarlet and Violet released on November 18th, 2022, and would introduce a terrestrialization mechanic. One that honestly brought me back to VGC and got me excited about the games again. Having the ability to change your typing made so many more Pokemon more interesting for me. The amount of times I would say, oh, I can tear up my Heatran to a flying type, made 2012 me so excited because I didn't have to rely on skill swapping it with Cresselia. Mega Evolution was nowhere to be seen again, and the thought of ever returning was out of the question for most players' minds. Mega Evolution was dead. Sure, there were the few that felt that one day, if they asked Mr. Nintendo and Mrs. Game Freak enough times, that maybe, just maybe, they'd bless us again with more Megas. But that idea just felt so futile. Instead, we'd be given one of the best mechanics we've ever seen, but just not as exciting. No matter what party hats you put on these Pokemon, nothing beats the idea of a Mega Evolution for most people. It was just that good. But you know, somehow, I feel like we're missing something. What if I told you that Mega Evolution never really left? Something happened after Generation 7 that I don't think most people are realizing. Mega Evolution would creep into the more casual games where it would find a home. I can open my phone, Go to this world peacemaking app today called Pokemon Go and Mega Evolve my Charizard to battle a raid at my local park right now. Today. When Pokemon made the leap to the Switch, it released Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which was not a VGC mainline competitive game. By all intents and purposes, this was a cruise through casual experience, and Mega Evolution went along with it, then never left. Mega Evolution was announced to be back in 2025 with the release of Pokemon Legends ZA, and the internet exploded with the news. Did you hear? Mega Evolutions are back. But they never left. After Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, they just became a casual mechanic. They went from being a VGC mainstay for 2 generations to a casual mechanic that no longer influenced the competitive environment. It's almost as if Game Freak decided to have 2 timelines of Pokemon, one with Mega Evolution, and one that can continue to innovate with new mechanics like Dynamax and Terrestrialization. I'm predicting that Legends ZA will give us more Mega Evolutions, probably for the Kalos Pokemon, new forms for Xerneas and Yveltal, and have brand new evolutions of Pokemon like Legends Arceus gave us that we can transfer through to Scarlet and Violet, or even the Generation 10 games that I think may be announced later this year. 2025 is still a ways away, but you can get outside, go to the park, battle a raid, and Mega Evolve your Charizard or Manectric or Gyarados or whichever Pokemon you want right now, today. Heck, maybe I'll see you guys there. Mega Evolution will continue to be a casual mechanic, only appearing to us in the games where it doesn't affect the VGC metagame. I think Game Freak and Nintendo learned their lesson after Generation 7. Fans love Mega Evolution, but maybe not battling with it. What if we keep it to the casual games such as Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Go, and now Pokemon Legends ZA, and instead focus on making VGC more innovative and dynamic in other ways? This could be how Game Freak and Nintendo have their cake and eat it too. This is all I have to say for now. If you guys made it to the end of the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me a lot. I'm getting close to 100 subscribers, and if I can make it to 1,000, I can really take this channel up to the next level. Let me know if this was a surprise to you too, because when I realized that there are 2 timelines of Pokemon, I was shocked. And it's really got me thinking about how Game Freak makes decisions and thinks about Pokemon as a whole. If you guys want me to cover all the Mega Evolutions individually, let me know. We have a lot of time from now until 2025 to cover that. Stay tuned for more videos from PogsVGC. Until next time.